Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Sportscast Podcast. This week we'll take a look back at how the Formula One Grand Prix from Canada ended up, and then run through the latest news from the T20 cricket, the US Open, and the main event, the Euros 2024. Join us now.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Yeah, very well. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm not so bad. Thank you. Jordan, you good?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you.
Wonderful. Right, where are we going to kick off this week then?
I think it'll be good for Jordan to just let us know how the Canadian Grand Prix finished up on Sunday night.
Absolutely.
It was a very, very, very enjoyable Grand Prix. I think you'll agree, Liam.
Yeah, I think for me, race of the very so far short season, but probably inclusive of last year as well.
I agree. I think when you've got Ferrari and McLaren and Red Bull and Mercedes all fighting for basically the win, top three for the podium, that is what motorsport is all about. That's what Formula One. That's what all of us watch Formula One is, and we've come out of a dominant era of Mercedes, and now we're into a dominant era of Red Bull. And yes, Max Verstappen did win, but he only won by 3.8 seconds. George Russell came third, 4.3 seconds behind him, and it was three different teams on the podium, which is fantastic. It was,
I think, as well.
Race.
Is that the first time this season you've had three different winners on the podium, or has that happened a few times?
I think it will have happened a couple of times with Leclerc and Lando being on there a couple of times.
Yeah.
Because Verstappen didn't start on pole, did he? Am I right in saying?
Correct. One thing I will say as well, it was a race that, yes, Verstappen won, but he had to win. He had to go out and win. It wasn't the usual. Yeah, he would have actually not won had it have been for McLaren staying out on the tyres a little bit longer. Like it was a strategy win, not a I'm the fastest car win.
Yeah, and a lot of people were pissed about that, myself included. But I mean, Lando got his very first win in Miami a few weeks ago because of a safety car kind of thing. So it's racing. Yeah. It's one of those things. He came out a couple of seconds behind Max, stayed with him. Like the McLaren is fast. Either the Red Bull is slowing, or the other teams are catching up. But by far and away, the biggest kind of improvement award week on week definitely goes to Mercedes. George finishing third, Lewis finishing fourth. Huge upgrades to that Mercedes. Toto seemed very, very happy with it. Hopefully, it's not just track specific, and we do see it continue forward when we hit next weekend.
Yeah, agree. Hopefully, where's the next weekend?
Spain.
So I thought
the Circuit de Catalunya.
This is where I believe the science news is going to come out going into his home race.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Williams next year. I think Williams will be a good move for him. I do actually genuinely believe Williams are up and coming. James Valls is very analytical. He knows where he wants the team to go. I think since kind of Claire and the Williams family era have stepped aside, that Williams will become a good. They'll lead the back markers, is what I would say.
Yeah, I think they've come away from the family tradition and now become a more commercial racing team.
Absolutely. One bit of quick news as well is Ocon to leave Alpine at the end of the season.
Yeah,
it was coming. Ocon is a temper driver. He is not necessarily a team player. He's cost Alpine a few points over the last two seasons, and I think it's probably time for him to maybe step to one side and let Alpine kind of choose where they want to go.
Yeah, where they want to go. So I think next we'll go to the US Open because I love my golf, and there was an absolutely incredible piece of action on Friday. But you've got Bryson DeChambeau out in the lead, Rory a couple of shots back, which I said last week to James. It's been 10 years since he's won a major, and he's never. He was joint lead on Thursday night, and he's never really sort of stuck around in 10 years. And lo and behold, I've said that, and he's sat nicely a couple of shots back going into the final round this evening. So tees off very shortly. So I'd love to see him win. He's been in the news a little bit more lately, but the main sort of bit of action for me was, I hope we know the name, Francesco Molinari, the Italian golfer. Friday night, he needed a hole-in-one on the last hole.
No chance.
To make the cut.
He didn't make it, did he?
He did.
Oh, God.
Now, in golfing terms, if you don't make the cut on the Thursday, Friday, you don't get paid.
Oh, really?
So just that one shot, so you don't get paid. This is why Live Golf 3-day thing, guaranteed to pay. This is where that comes in. For your bottom feeders. But he was. I think it was about 5 or 6 over the cut, and he was like 7 over, and he needed a hole in one or whatever on the last hole, and just bumped the front of the green, and a little bump and roll, and rolled in. And
talks about making it count when it matters, eh?
Yeah, so worth 90 grand just for making the cut.
Yeah, Molinari's 41 now. Just a quick Google. He's probably one of the oldest ones that aren't on not necessarily the senior tour, but I mean Tiger Woods is 48 and not doing great, kind of in general. Luke Donald 46, so he's at the higher end of the spectrum. Probably not senior just yet, but lucky to make the cut. Absolute brilliant hole in one. But yeah, just kind of maybe age just kind of play a part in it as you kind of get.
Yeah, I mean Phil Mickelson was quite far back.
Yeah.
You don't really see sort of Louis Oosthuizen up there as much anymore. So there's a couple of them that do drop off, and it probably backs up what Tiger Woods has been doing for years even more, coming back and winning a major. Incredible.
Absolutely.
A little bit of Olympic news, because we are going into the Olympics. British news, Emma Raducanu has actually rejected a wild card into the Olympics. She's not going to be taking part, which I find a little bit odd, because I thought that'd be a good thing for her to get, maybe get a medal under her belt, get a bit of confidence back. But I think the absolute dream team is Alcaraz and Rafael Nadal to team up in a pair for the Olympics. I mean, so I think the next question is, if it's not, who's getting silver and bronze? Because you've got one of the greatest of all time and the best player of this era who's got the potential to dominate.
I don't think anybody's going to be looking at silver and bronze in that. I think it's all going to be about those two. But going back to Raducanu, I don't know what it is about her, and I'm not meaning to sound in any way disrespectful, but there's something about that young girl that I cannot stand. And I don't know if it's because she won the US Open at such a young age. Has she let it then go to her head? Because hasn't she then sacked God knows how many coaches?
Multiple coaches.
It's almost like she feels that she's too good for it, if that makes sense. And she's kind of gone on that path where, right, you're not telling me how great I am, so I'm going to sack you, and then go on to the next one, and so on and so forth.
I think it could look that way, whether it is or not. Very difficult.
I'm not saying it is that way, but that's certainly how it would look to a lot of people.
Yeah. But as someone that you see people of that age that made that not to take the Mickey Richards phrase, but burst onto the scene. And some people run with it like Luke Littler and actually back it up, and some people crumble. And I think, unfortunately, she's been one to crumble.
It's a shame because, she showed a lot of potential when, absolutely come out of nowhere to win such a prestigious tournament. And it just seems she could have gone so much further, but she does give that feeling across that, I've won the US Open, that's it, I've completed tennis. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Just before we move on from tennis, just to pick up next week's pod, we'll probably go in a bit more in depth, but actually Monday the 1st of July is when Wimbledon starts.
Oh, God, really?
Wimbledon, that finishes on the 14th of July, and then we're straight into the Olympics. So should be a pretty decent July.
Oh, thank God for that.
We had a very nice boxing card last night, and Jordan's not probably massive onto his boxing, but Chris Billum-Smith defended his belt last night, and on the undercard there's a fighter called Ben Whittaker, and he
is he the one that grabbed his opponent by the throat at the weigh-in?
I didn't see the weigh-in, but I believe it will be, because he woke up one morning after one of his fights and had 57 million followers on Instagram. He just overnight became a sensation, and if he makes Prince Nassim look humble, James,
oh God,
the way he showboats in the ring is incredible. Sometimes he's just giving him like a little tap on the top of the head, like a little boop on the top of the head while he's bouncing around. It's incredible. And last night he was the end of a round, and he basically like pretended as if his opponent was a really old man and walked him back to the ring. And his opponent, to be fair, he did sort of throw his head at him as a bit of a headbutt. But I mean, you're taking mockery to another level with stuff like that. But he drew, and he's a fantastic fighter. He's unbeaten, but he just doesn't look like he's ever going to finish a fight because he's too busy fucking around. And
this goes back to what we've just said about the tennis, isn't it? They've let it, it seems like he's let it go to his head, and he's had a shit ton of people stood around him telling him how great he is and how much his shit don't stink. So he's now come to believe that, and inevitably it will come back and bite him on the arse, because it always does.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he'll be a great British boxer, maybe European, but as soon as he gets to the world stage, you're not going to get caught out with stuff like that.
No. Cricket?
Well, yeah, England have qualified. I mean, albeit they've had a bit of a washout, but it did take another game for them to qualify. So it was Australia beat Scotland overnight last night.
I mean, not by much. They were even Stevens with 3 balls to go, and Australia at 6 on the third ball of the last over to win it. So yeah, I mean, Pakistan have not long beaten Ireland again, leaving it right until the penultimate ball of the 18th over. So only 7 balls left in that when they've won it. So, but did you watch the New Zealand-Uganda? Did you see anything about that?
I didn't, no.
So Uganda, I mean, they're not well known for their cricketing skills, but they went 40 all out. They scored 40 runs in 18 and a half overs, or 18.4 overs, and went all out for 40. And New Zealand's when they lost a wicket, 41 for 1, but it only took them 5.2 overs to get to that.
Jesus,
so they've taken 32 balls to get 41 runs, whereas it took Uganda near on the whole 20 overs just to get to 40. It was embarrassing to watch. I mean, there was a couple of times where one of the New Zealand fast bowlers, there was 2 occasions where he was on hat-trick balls.
Jesus.
They absolutely went for it. Yeah.
Just quickly before we get to the big one, Adam Yates wins the Tour de Suisse, ready for 2 weeks' time. I can't wait. It's a time that I sit and have my phone onto the desk at work. Tour de France, the big one. Pogacar won the Giro d'Italia, so that is where the yellow jersey is going to go. But hopefully Cavendish has another good go. He has just been knighted in the King's birthday honours, but hopefully he could do something big in there, get a stage win to take the outright lead. But 2 weeks, Tour de France. I cannot wait.
Where are they starting this year in the Tour de France? Because there's been a few occasions where they've started within the UK, haven't they? Whereabouts are they starting this year?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I've not looked at the route yet. But one thing I do know is if you ever get a chance, get on Eurosport when it's on. And I know it's on for
I
5
love
or 6
watching it.
hours.
I love watching it.
The backdrops and the villages and the towns they drive through are just incredible.
Absolutely.
They're starting in the beautiful city of Florence.
Oh, so coming in from Italy. Nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's only been one other real minor event going on at this weekend.
What's that?
And it's the Euros.
Oh, I've heard of them. Yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah. I've been away this weekend, so it's given me an opportunity to put my feet up and watch the telly and watch the Euros, watch the football more so than I normally do. And this Euros, I feel, will be one of, if not the highest scoring Euros in terms of goals scored. If every team and if every match is like what we've seen so far, we're in for an absolute belter of a tournament.
Yeah,
absolute belter. And I mean, Germany opened us up on was it Friday night, and against Scotland. Scotland, I thought were very, very lackluster. The goalkeeping, in my opinion, was atrocious.
Well, I think Angus Gunn was still. I think Angus Gunn was still on the plane. To be honest with you, at kickoff.
Absolutely woeful goalkeeping. 5-1. Germany kind of, and even the goal that Scotland scored, they didn't score. It was kind of an own goal. Spain.
Well, he's what's his name? Who scored the own goal? He's what was it? Rudiger. He's Scotland's all-time goal scoring competitions for the last 25 years, isn't he?
Yeah, he's joint. Yeah, it's been good, like Jordan said. We've only had 1-1-1. There's been some 2-1s, 3-0s, 3-1, and obviously 5-1. So with a game to play this evening, so that'll probably be our first 0-0 as we've not had one. But so what I've done for the quiz this time round. So Jordan is 1-0 down because James got the attendances. For whilst the Euro's on, they will be Euro based, the questions, and for the games to predict, what I've done, I've given us each 2 games from each day. So Jordan's got 2 games, I've got 2 games, you've got 2 games, James, but both of your games are on the same day. You'll get 1 point if you get the result correct, and you'll get another 2 points if you get the score correct. So 3 points on offer.
Right.
So Jordan to give answers first on this, and then James, you give him second. So the quiz: who has appeared at the most European finals as a player?
My God.
Oh God.
I'm going to say Buffon.
James?
I am going to say Didier Deschamps.
You are both wrong. It's so obvious. It's Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh, no way.
So when you say finals, do you mean the competition or the final?
Yeah, Euro finals, yeah.
All right, okay. That's where I got mixed up then.
That's all right. What manager has coached the most games at the Euros?
Oh my God, I don't even know. These probably like way above my level of international football. I have absolutely no idea.
Okay, James?
LeBlanc.
I can't believe no one got that at Joachim Low.
I don't even know the guy.
Oh, German, of course.
Yeah. And who has won the most games in the Euros?
I'm going to say Germany.
Spain.
I'm glad someone got it right because there's no way you could have had a nil point week. So well done, James. That was.
Go on.
So yeah.
Well done, James. 2-0 down. I feel like Scotland have got a long way to come back.
Yeah. You might as well give up now. So what I've done is 2 games. I've given you a pretty even, and then a probably more of a harder one.
Right.
So Jordan, your first game is Romania versus Slovakia.
Oh right, yeah, that famous rivalry.
Oh, you're big on your Romanian football, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm gonna go Slovakia 1-0.
Okay, and it's not Slovakia, is it? I'm
No.
I've been also.
You're Romania, Ukraine, you mean?
Yeah, Romania, Ukraine, Jordan. Sorry.
Go on. I'll go Ukraine 1-0.
Ukraine 1-0, and then it's Belgium, Slovakia.
Belgium, Slovakia. I'll go Belgium 4-1.
Okay. James, nice and easy. Turkey, Georgia.
3-1 Turkey.
Okay. Georgia with their first appearance. He's put them down for a goal on the first game. And Scotland, Switzerland.
I am going to go 2-0 Switzerland.
Wow. They did play well yesterday, may I add.
Yeah,
so my first game is Spain, Italy.
Whoa, that's a belter.
Do you know what? I'm going 2-1 Spain.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I watched the Italian last night, and they were clinical in the first 25 minutes. Don't get me wrong, other than the issue. But after that, they just kind of lacked the oomph to get through, and they didn't have every single man behind the ball.
They didn't have that killer instinct, did they?
Yeah.
No. And then my second game, I'm going with Poland, Austria.
Oh.
And I've gone 1-1.
That's a good shout.
Poland, Austria 1-1.
Yeah. I think
I've gone with a Poland win, to be honest with you. But
yeah, I've gone. I've tried to.
Okay.
We'll see. So we'll come back to that next week, and we'll see, and we'll keep a tally, and there will be a little forfeit in there for the loser of that. So we'll only get sort of 3 or 4 weeks within there. So the most points.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So
what do you think about tonight, though?
Well, I don't think it'll be 0-0. I do think it'll be 1-0 England, but I just think they'll struggle to break them down. That's what
the challenge that I have from watching Gareth Southgate interview on Friday is he came across in the exact same way as the Scotland manager did, and when he's kind of what he was doing, he was basically saying, how do you think you're going to do it in the Euros? And rather than say, and if I was a manager and if I was the manager of England and I would have said, we are going to do well this season. We've set this Euros, we've set ourselves up well. We've got a great bunch of players. What he actually said was, well, we've got a lot of young people in there that we need to nurture and we need to bring them along with us. And I'm thinking, no, we're kind of setting a preempt of
just in case
kind of failing.
He's making excuses early doors, isn't he? Yeah.
Making excuses early doors. And it pains me a little bit because Leicester won the Premier. I keep returning to this example on multiple pods, but Leicester won the Premier League because they were positive and they were forward kind of facing, and they got the ball and they ran towards the goal. They shot. If you don't shoot, you're not going to score. And
I'm a big fan of that. Even if you have 20 shots off target, you've had 20 goes at it, haven't you?
If I don't feel like he's setting them up with the right mentality, and I'd love to say, Liam, you're wrong. They'll win by 3, 4, 5 goals against Slovakia. But I can't see it. I think it'll be a bore draw or 1-0.
And me and James have discussed it, and we're okay. We've got a little bit of bias away from England, but it is exactly that. Leicester, yes, all right. In the press, they was very, we're just trying to get to 40 points, but they did exactly that. They just pushed the ball forward. Jamie Vardy running behind, shoot at goal, and they won the league off it. And you've got it's the old, I think it's a Japanese analogy where they're taking photos and, you've got a year, you need to take the best photo. Some people are allowed to take one photo and some people just go for it. And the best ones are taken by those that keep on taking photos. You score because you keep on taking shots.
Yep, 100%. But let's see. We've got a very young mix, agree. You've got some holes in some areas where the key players that are left out or that are injured, but in the listeners have the beauty of hindsight. So maybe I'm wrong, maybe you're right. Who knows?
Cool. Well, have a good week, gents, and we'll report back next week to see how we've done.
Bye-bye.
Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sportscast podcast. As normal, you'll get us on our social media, Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, at SportscastPod UK. Join us again next week.